Hello dear students. Students, today we will start chapter number 14, that is statistics. Students, this chapter you are studying from your earlier classes, like the name of the chapters were what? Representation of data, bar graph, graphical representation of data. Okay, so basically you are studying this chapter from your earlier classes. Here we will study this chapter in more extended form. Okay, so firstly let us know that what is statistics. What is statistics? So students, statistics is what? Statistics means numerical facts or observations collected with definite purpose. Okay, students, if some records are getting maintained for a definite purpose, like you are giving exams, okay, and all your marks are recorded in the form of data. Okay, so what is the purpose? To collect that data. The purpose to collect that data to know your performance. Okay, how's your performance in studies? So this kind of data which are having some definite purpose and they are recorded in the numeric form is known as what? Statistics. Okay students, now the statistical data. Okay, what are the types of statistical data? So here the statistical data are of two types. The first one is primary data and the second one is secondary data. Okay, here we will understand this primary data and secondary data with examples. Okay, students, if the data is collected, okay, by the investigator himself, like if you yourself collects any data, then this type of data is known as primary data. Okay, like suppose you are having any you have to do any survey. Okay, you are there is a assignment for you to collect the data of your class. Okay, and what data you have to collect? Suppose your assignment is to collect the heights of the students of your class. Okay, now you will arrange the data by yourself. Okay, and you yourself records the data. Okay, so this type of data is known as primary data. What is the definition of it? The definition is when an investigator collects data himself with a definite plan and design in his mind, it is called primary data. Okay, so when the investigator collects data himself, okay, that type of data is known as primary data. Now what is secondary data? Secondary data basically is what? Basically it is collected by some other. Okay, and we are getting that from a published or unpublished sources, like students, like the census of the country. Okay, the census of the country is recorded by the government of the employee of the government of the India. Okay, and we were studying it in the form of published data. Okay, so basically secondary data is collected by some other. Okay, and we got it from some published or unpublished sources. Like the definition is when an investigator, okay, for primary data, when an investigator collects data himself with a definite plan or purpose, it is called primary data. And what is secondary data? Secondary data is the data which are not originally collected, rather obtained from published or unpublished sources. Okay, so students, these are some basic definitions of this chapter. Okay, firstly what we have studied, that what is the statistics. Statistics is numerical facts or observation collected with definite purpose. then primary data and then secondary data. Okay. Students, I want to make you clear that the major portion of this chapter is now reduced from your syllabus. Okay, the major portion means, see, firstly, after this topic, we'll study the frequency distribution. Okay, frequency distribution, and then there the exercise 14.1 and 14.2 is there. But students, graphical representation of data. Okay, in this topic, total 3 kinds of graphical representations are there. One is bar graph, one is histogram, and one is frequency polygon. So bar graph is there in your syllabus, but histogram and frequency polygon is now removed from your syllabus. Okay, so the chapter is now very short. Okay, only you have to study what? The basic terms about statistics. Okay, and then we'll see frequency distribution, and after that we have to study the bar graph. Okay, and then your chapter will be completed. Okay, so we'll try to finish it today itself. Okay, means in this part itself we'll try to finish this chapter. See, if I will tell you the methods to solve the question, okay, and with the example, okay, you can solve the questions by yourself, because the questions in your exercise are very easy. Okay, so I will tell you the methods and the example, and the questions of the exercise you will solve by yourself. Okay, so firstly, note it down whatever written on the board. Okay, and after that we'll see the frequency distribution topic. Now students, coming to the topic frequency distribution. So what is frequency? Frequency is, students, when some part is repeated, okay, some data is repeated, then it is known as frequency. Okay, frequency distribution are of 2 types. The first one is discrete frequency distribution, and the second one is continuous frequency distribution. Firstly, let us understand that what is discrete frequency distribution, and we will understand this topic by an example. Okay, suppose this is the example that following table represents the number of children in 20 families. Okay, there are 20 families, and in that 20 families, according to their number of children in the family, we will make this table. Okay, and how we'll make? So suppose, students, the number of families which are having only one child, okay, which are having only one child, is 5. So in tally marks, how we will represent 5? We will draw 4 lines and 1 cross line. Okay, so this will represent 5. The families which are having the number of children 2, okay, and suppose it is 6. So how will write 6? 1 2 3 4 5 and 6. Okay, the number of families which are having 3 children, okay, and suppose their number is 4. 1 2 3 4, like this. Number of families which are having 4 children, okay, suppose their number is 3. 1 2 3, so we'll write like this, 3. And the number of families which are having 5 children, suppose it is 2, so here we will write 2. Okay, so this kind of table, okay, where this is like, this is separatedly right, okay, this is separately written, is known as what? Discrete frequency distribution. Okay, so in discrete frequency distribution, the table is like this. Okay, but if the number of children here is written in class interval form, okay, like 5 to 10, 10 to 15, 15 to 20, okay, like this, so that will be your continuous frequency distribution. We will see one example of that also, but firstly note it down. Whatever written, just note it down. Now students, as I have told you that the second type is of continuous frequency distribution, or it is also called grouped frequency distribution. Okay, continuous or grouped frequency distribution. So as it is clear from its name also that here the data is written in the form of group. Okay, so we will understand this also by an example. The example is what? That following are the marks of 30 students of a class. Okay, so I am going to write the marks of 30 students in this table. Okay, and how we will write? Let us see. Suppose students that the students who has got the marks in between 0 to 10. Okay, the students who has got the marks in between 0 to 10 are 6. Okay, so how you will represent in tally bars? It is 5 and it is 6. The students who has got marks in between 10 to 20, suppose it is 11. Okay, so it will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 1. Okay, the students who has got the marks in between 20 to 30, in between 20 to 30, suppose it is 5. So it will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and the students who has got the marks in between 30 to 40. So in between 30 to 40, it will be suppose it is 4. So it will be 1, 2, 3, 4. And the students who has got the marks in between 40 to 50, it is also 4, and it is represented like this. So here students, you can see the first column of this table, that is written in the form of group. Okay, but in the previous example that was written separately. Okay, so that was written separately, and here it is written in the grouped form. Okay, so this kind of frequency distribution is known as continuous frequency distribution or grouped frequency distribution, and the previous one was called discrete frequency distribution. Okay, one more thing students, in this continuous frequency distribution or grouped frequency distribution, okay, two types of frequency distribution are there. Okay, one is exclusive method. Okay, one is exclusive method. Okay, means the method to represent continuous frequency distribution are of two type. One is exclusive and one is inclusive. Okay, one is exclusive and one is inclusive. Now what is the difference in between exclusive and inclusive? See, in exclusive method, this is the example of exclusive method, like 0 to 10, the next data start from 10 itself. 0 to 10, 10 to 20, next data start from 20 itself, means where the first data is ending, the second one is starting from there only. Okay, so the example like 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30, this is the example of exclusive method. But if it was inclusive method, so it would be like this: 0.0 to 9, 0 to 9, 10 to 19, 20 to 29, like this. Means when the data started from the next number, okay, like 0 to 9, the next number is 10, and second data is starting from 10, 10 to 19. So this type of representation is known as inclusive method, and when the data ends with the number and starts with the same number is known as what? Exclusive method. This is the example of representation of continuous frequency distribution of exclusive method. Okay, and if it was inclusive method, so it would be written like this, that 0 to 9, 10 to 19, okay, and then 20 to 29, like this. Okay students, one more thing, when you are writing the grouped frequency means like this, 0 to 10, okay, so the first number, okay, the first number of the group is known as lower limit. This 0 is known as lower limit. If we talk about a particular group that is 0 to 10, then this will be known as lower limit, and this will be known as upper limit. Lower limit and upper limit. One formula is there of class mark. One formula is there of class mark. If someone asks you that what is the class mark of this group, so what you will do, you will add lower limit plus upper limit and you will divide it by 2. So basically the class mark is what? Class mark is average of lower limit and upper limit, or you can say that it is, you have to add lower limit plus upper limit and then you will divide it by 2. Okay students, so this is the method. In this section what we have studied that what is continuous frequency distribution, the representation of continuous frequency distribution, and the methods exclusive method and inclusive method. Here the data like this, 0 to 10, 0 is lower limit, 10 is upper limit, and what will be their class mark? Class mark, when you will add them and divide it by 2, okay, that will be your class mark. Okay students, now we will see one question of exercise 14.2. see, exercise 14.1, only 2 questions are there and both are very easy. Okay, so let us see one question of exercise 14.2 and the rest of the questions. All the questions are on the same pattern. Okay, so you will do that by yourself. We will see the one question of exercise 14.2. Okay, so firstly note it down and then we will start the exercise 14.2. Now students, coming to the first question of exercise 14.2. okay, and the question is what? The question is, the blood group of 30 students of class 8th are recorded as follows. Okay, here are the blood groups given. The question is to represent this data in frequency distribution, discrete frequency distribution, and then you have to tell that which blood group is most common and which blood group is most rarest. Okay, so students, for this we have to make a table. Okay, for this we have to make a table, and in that table we will represent the frequency distribution. Okay, and how we will represent, let us see. Here we will write the blood group. Here we will write tally bars. Okay, in question it is not said that represent tally bars, but if we show it is good. Okay, and here we will write the frequency. Okay, now how many types of blood group is there? The one type is A, B, okay, AB and O. Okay, AB and O. So students, firstly we have to count that how many blood groups are there of A group. Okay, so let us count A. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9. Okay, so total 9 blood groups of A is there in that class 8th. Okay, Now we will count B. Okay, so how many group of B is there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so 6 blood group of B is there. Now we'll count AB. So how many AB group is there? 1, 2, 3, only 3 is there. Okay, and O is how many are there of O blood group? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now we will add that it is equal to 30 or not. 12 and 3 15, 15 6 21 and 9 30 means it is correct. Okay, now we will represent it by tally bars. 1 2 3 4 5, 1 2 3 4. Okay, 6 1 2 3 4 5 1, 3 1 2 3 and 12 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4 5 and 1 2. Okay, so students, this is the frequency distribution table of this question. Okay, now the question, the most common blood group. So the most common blood group answers. Okay, answers of the first question, the answer of the first question, the most common, you can see the highest frequency of the blood group of is O. Okay, so it is O blood group. O blood group. And the most rarest, the second question is most rarest. So the least frequency is of AB blood group. Okay, so AB blood group is having the least frequency. Okay, so it will be the most rarest. Okay, students, so this is how we solve the questions of exercise 14.2. Okay, total 9 questions are there, and in all that questions you have to follow the same procedure. Okay, in all that questions you have to follow the same procedure. Okay, in some questions you have to show it by grouped frequency distribution. So I have told you one example of that also, that how you will show in grouped frequency distribution. So firstly you should note it down, and then we will see the topic graphical representation of data. Okay, just note it down. Now students, coming to the topic, the graphical representation of data. Okay, in graphical representation of data, I have told you total 3 methods are there. Okay, one is your bar graph, the second one is histogram, and the third one is frequency polygon. But I have also told you that the segment means the representation of graphical data. Okay, graphical representation of histogram and frequency polygon is removed from your syllabus. So what is left only? The only part of graphical representation which is left is your bar graph. Okay, so bar graph is there, and let us understand that what is bar graph. Okay, and how we will represent a data in bar graph. So here I have taken an example. Okay, and the example is what? The following table gives the number of students in class 9th in a school during the academic years 1996 to 97. Okay, 1996-97 one session is there, to 2000-2001. Okay, means this data, this table gives the information about the total number of students of the session 1996-97 and 2000-2001. Okay, like 1996-97 in this session in class 9th 50 students were there. Okay, 1997 to 98, in this session the students of class 9th was 75. Okay, 1998-99 it is 125, 1999 to 2000 it is 150, and 2000 to 2001 it is 200. Now the question is how we will represent it on the bar graph. Okay, so let us see, students. On the graph you will make the representation like this. This will be your x-axis and this will be your y-axis. Okay, x-axis and y-axis. Now see, the data is 50, 75, 125, 150 and 200. So mostly you can see that it is in the form of multiples of 25. Okay, so if we take on the y-axis the 1 unit as 25 students. See, scales, students, at the corner of your graph scales is written. Okay, and if it is not written you have to write it by yourself. Okay, you have to tell that what you have supposed the 1 unit. Okay, like on y-axis I have made the gap of 25 because mostly it is written it is the multiples of 25. So basically on y-axis I have supposed that 1 unit is equal to 25 students. Okay, when you will make this on the graph you will see that so many units are there. Okay, so 1 unit I have made as 25 students. So 25, 25, 25, 25, it is like this. Okay, and the number of students like 25, then 50, 75, 100, 125, like this. Okay, on x-axis I have supposed 1 unit as 1 session. ठीक है, 1 unit as 1 session. Like the first one will represent the session 96-97. Okay, 1996-97. The second one represents 97-98. Are you getting this? 97-98 means 1997 to 1998. Okay, then 98 to 99, and then 99 to 2000, and then 2000 to 2001, like this. Okay, now you can see the 1996 to 97 it is 50 students. Okay, so where is 50 students? 50 is here, so you have to make a bar. Okay, which will be equal to like this 50. So basically we have represent the session 1996 to 1997 as 50 students. Okay, then 1997 to 98 it is 75. In the same manner you will represent like this. Okay, when you will make it on the graph it will be properly made. Okay, it will be proper on the graph. 1998 to 1999 it is 125. So you can see that 125 is here. Okay, and you have to represent it also. So it is 125, and then 150. So 150 you can represent a data 1999 to 2000, it is 150. Okay, and then the last one it is 200, so you can represent like this. It can be represented like this. Students, in bar graph, in between two groups there is a space like this. 1990, see the space is there. Okay, the space is there na, in between the bars there is the space. Okay, and that is why it is called bar graph. If there is no space, then it will be the histogram. Okay, so you have to be very clear that you are leaving the space in between two bars. Okay, so that will be the correct representation of bar graph. Okay students, so here you can understand that how we will represent the questions of bar graph. Okay students, this is how we can see, that what are the topics that we have to study in this chapter. Okay, in chapter 14, and whatever else in your book, okay, that is removed from your syllabus. Okay, like central tendency, the one topic is there, that central tendency, and that topic is also removed. In central tendency, what you study? In central tendency we used to study mean, median and mode of the data, but that topic is also removed. Okay, so whatever the topics, what we have studied today, we have studied the definition of statistics, then we have studied the statistical data, that is primary data, secondary data, and then we have studied that frequency distribution, discrete frequency distribution and continuous or grouped frequency distribution. After that we have solved one question of exercise 14.2. Okay, 14.1 is very easy, only two questions are there, and then we have studied that how to represent the data in graphical form. Okay, so students, like this, whatever the topics were there in your book, okay, I have taught you in this part only. Okay, in the next part, we'll see your next chapter. Okay, that is chapter 15, that is probability. Okay, see, all the questions I have not told you all the questions of NCERT, because that you can solve by yourself if you will watch this part of the video carefully. Okay, and in your fair copy it is necessary to solve each and every questions of NCERT. The question, to note down the whole question in your fair copy is not necessary. The necessary part is what? To their solution. Okay, so the question you can leave. Okay, the written form of the question you can leave. Okay, but their solution you will write it in your notebook. Okay students, so first just note it down, and just pause the video and note it down. And I think that it is sufficient for today. Okay, in the next part we'll see the next chapter, that is probability. Okay students, thank you very much.